We're doing it live.
Live. We're testing
We're
live.
doing it live. Doing it live.
We're testing live.
Doing it live. Doing it live.
Okay.
Doing it live.
It does appear that we are live. It does appear working sound, I think. Fairly good balance. Anyways, you were saying just before I roll the intro,
Well,
I suppose.
if we're ready, yeah. I mean, it's something that's probably good to talk about, in front of everybody. So, um,
Yeah, no, I mean
hello,
we are technically live as we speak, so
we're live.
call it the pre-show,
Okay,
I guess. The news section.
okay. The pre-funk.
This is yeah, exactly. This is the warm-up.
Okay. Um, this IMGNAI. So imagine AI. I think is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
This. What do you know about this? This trade today, it kind of made my day. And I got lucky. I just put in a stake bid, and it filled on this crazy wick, and then ran straight up. And so I sold it, and now it's still running. So I'm like, ugh. So it's one of those wins where you feel like you lost. What do you know about it?
Imagine AI, is that what it's called?
IMGNAI, yeah, and
Oh,
it's
okay.
AI, and I know you're Vlad AI, man. But if you look at my screen right now, look at this. Okay, here we go. 1 hour.
All right, I'm gonna
See
switch
that?
over to yours.
Okay, yeah, that's
There we
good.
go. Okay. I mean, doesn't it kind of say Magna-ish? I feel like I have no
Yeah,
idea what this is.
yeah, it does look kind of like Magna. No, IMG. Yeah, it does look like that actually. Let me get to the better view of it. Let's go to this hourly chart here. So this this thing, I've been hearing things about it, and so today I put in a stake bid right right in like 0.16 or 1.7 or something like that. But look at this crazy wick. Went all the way down to like point 0.1 and then got bought right back up. And now it's still running.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, what do you know about fundamentals on this one? I mean, is this one, if you look at the daily on this, it's
Is there like
Rubby
an
is going on.
actual like the NA?
Yeah, here, let me take off the view ops because they make everything look kind of crazy. Um, yeah, let me take those babies off right now. So, I mean,
Imagine
look at that.
AI.
Oh man. Oof.
So we're just, I guess, buying that thing, right?
Well, what I'm saying is, that there's certain ones that I'm willing to buy at the lows if price, valuation and all that looks pretty good. I thought you might know something about this. I don't. I personally don't. If it's gaming, I'm not interested. But if it's something that's like AI or something, I might be interested in really looking at this one.
I mean, I can share like this is gonna be me discovering this for the first time as well.
Okay.
So this this
Okay.
is what it is.
It is what it is. Oh, okay. Oh, it's one of those weird like pervert things or whatnot. Those anime things.
I
Okay.
have no clue what this is. Crypto native to be a new leader in consumer AI. Okay.
Consumer AI. Okay. Okay. All right.
So and there's a token, and yeah, I have no idea.
Okay. Well, anyways, it's pumping, and I sold too early, of course.
Yeah. I mean, I would say it is probably a well-crafted scam, like most other things in crypto, but
Looks pretty good though. I mean, but again, you can generate things that look, especially with your AI stuff, man, you can generate something pretty quickly. It looks pretty good. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I have no idea what are they trying to do. It does seem like maybe their purpose is to sell their token, right?
Uh huh.
But hey, if it runs,
Scans pump the hardest.
Yep. Gotta remember to get out.
Yeah. All right. So you haven't been trading much, huh?
No, been trading the Pepe. Really.
Well, fill us in on the Pepe when entry, stop loss. Give us what you what you're looking at.
Yeah, right now I'm just looking at Pepe and I'm thinking, boring, essentially.
Yes. Right.
Um, but
Whew.
I suppose like there's been many trades in Pepe. I actually got a short in at the very top, which I didn't hold nearly
Whew.
long enough.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Okay. Yeah, I remember that. That's right.
and like my entry was like 44.8 or something like that, or 44.7. I don't quite remember,
Oh
but
my goodness.
like it was up
Wow, man.
there.
That's
Um,
brilliant.
and yeah, so I sold that one around 19, which was
Hmm.
I think that like like 1200 ROI trade or something like that.
Yeah.
So that
Very
was
nice, man.
definitely my movement wise, that was the best trade so far of the
Yeah.
year. Um, but
Yeah. Very
now,
cool.
after volatility, right, comes kind of the opposite. So that's what we're seeing on Pepe. So
Okay.
I'm
So
guessing
if it runs these lows here at like the 0.11 ish area, are you interested? Are you a buyer there, or you think it's going to zero like Turbo?
that's the thing. Like I have with Pepe, like I do have a feeling that Pepe is just gonna really, really do what that Pepe meme is kind of all about, right? Like that's
Yeah,
my gut
I agree.
feeling on Pepe is when you think you're ready to long it, like that's way too early.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
but I don't know. It's a popular meme on the other hand, so maybe it has staying power. But even Dogecoin, kind of ranged at its all-time lows for like years before anything really happened.
Right. Right. Yeah, I see a lot of people are thirsty, about Pepe right now, hoping that it makes a move. I currently have just a few $100 move bag of it right now that I'm just holding on to. But other than that, I wasn't trade. I got a few good longs on it. I didn't short it. I was afraid to short it because I didn't want to get my face. I didn't want Saka to rip my face off on while you guys are doing what you do and with the low time frame stuff. And I was like, nah, I'm just gonna wait. So got some decent ones, but nothing to write home to mom about. Um, if you look at Turbo, on the other hand, it's obviously looks like what happened with Turbo, and is that looks like market makers decided just to go ahead and get out of this one once it got listed on like OKX or something like that. They're pretty much done. What it looks like to me. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, this one
Yeah.
isn't looking too great, but oscillator wise, if it's going to turn anywhere,
Uh huh. Okay, we can look at
well,
those.
that'd be around
Well,
here.
yeah, it's deep. It's deep in the trench. That's for sure.
Like,
Crazy thing about this, I had some
yeah.
great turbo trades. Um, so this one actually worked out well. The other night when my flight landed, this was like trading at like point or ignore the decimals, just 0.50 around there. So I bought some, and then it ran up overnight, and then it dumped the next morning. So by the time I woke up, the thing had already dumped back to my entry, and apparently it spiked up crazy on because of that listing. So if we go here, yeah, right, ran up to like it ran pretty high, yeah, 0.67. And then that I think that was the OKX listing, and then now market makers are pretty much done with it.
Yeah, it doesn't look too hot, I guess.
Yeah.
How's it doing, like, I guess, volume wise? Are we,
Yeah. Let's have a look at that. Where is that? Turbo, turbo, turbo. Yeah. Well, it's been all the high relative volume. From what I look at, it's all just sell volume. If you look at it. just red candles. Now, of course, there's a buyer on every side. I get it. Buyer on the other side, but
Yeah,
yeah, not. I mean,
it's hard. Like I can show you, I guess, my because I didn't trade turbo. I actually haven't owned a single turbo, but
yeah,
like in terms of scenarios, that I suppose you can look at this as a range, and we've had volatility, and therefore we've kind of, I guess if you logically like break down the flow, right, like lots and lots of volatility,
yeah,
volatility lower and lower, and we're
yeah,
consistently oversold on oscillators. So like
yeah.
likelihood is we're going to see something like this, and then kind of look for sort of meandering up to here. I would think. Just enough to
88.
kind of get some liquidity going again, and find probably a lot of buyers here, possibly around here as well. It'd just be my
Yeah,
guess, provided that we
yeah,
kind of start closing above inside of this range, which would be
yeah,
46, 46, 43.
yeah. This like 0.52 level was actually holding up fairly decently. There were buyers stepping in there, and that's what I was doing, and I got a couple good ones on it. But then, like I said, after that OKX listing, it just now now it's down below that. So I see what you're saying. I think there's just better trades out there right now.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, no
and you
doubt.
always have like this is like what to watch out for, right? Like the opposite scenario is just gonna be going for these
Yeah.
lows, and like don't
Mhm.
think it can't happen because we've all seen it happen before, plenty of
No doubt.
times. It can happen.
Okay, so
um,
so Pepe, you don't have any alerts going on. You don't have anything that any levels you're looking at.
no, like I think right now I'm more or less just monitoring a sentiment and kind
Okay.
of willingness, I guess, to engage. So I look less at the charts, which has been refreshing because been managed to be productive in other
I
ways, right? But at the same time,
I
like
hear you.
just looking at just kind of trying to get a read on sentiment has been fairly good in terms of like I missed the Pepe run up entirely
Yeah.
because I was busy building basically, but
Yeah.
I did manage to catch the top, ironically, right? Like I could make a bunch of money down because it just at that moment it was easy to identify like sentiment around Pepe is just way too hot. If everyone's
Mm.
talking about it, then there are no one left to buy.
Also, what also looked like it happened, there were so many people that were hating on it because they missed the move up. So then, what do you do if you miss the run up? You try to short it, and then they were just getting smoked.
Yeah,
Yeah, and yeah, that was a fun one. I'm sure I had bought some of this, a month ago or whatever, and if I would have held on to that, I would have done really well. But oh well, it
that's
happens.
always the. But like, do we even know what these coins do? Like none of these are
No,
actual
they
holds,
don't do
right?
shit. They don't do their NFTs without pictures.
Oh
That's what it is.
Lord, yeah, no,
Period.
that's perfect.
Without pictures. Yeah, so but hey, talk about screen time. Is that you all know I was on vacation in Hawaii, and it was great. And I seriously, away from the screen, it was great. So when I did come back to the screen, it was like the focus was renewed. No forcing trade. I got lucky while I was there because I was just buying spot positions when by chance I looked at the chart and Blur was in the low 40s or mid 40s. I would just buy some and then I would sell it at like 48. And just happened to work out that way. So I just kept accumulating that. And another one that I think I round tripped on a couple of longs here and there, but only nothing. I wasn't sitting there looking at charts all day, and it was really good. It was good for the soul. Yeah,
Yeah,
no
yeah.
doubt. Speaking of soul, let's talk about soul because I know we got a lot of soul boys in the chat. Oh, you got Blur up.
I do have blur
Talk to us
up.
about Blur.
We can do
Talk to us
blur
about
first, I
Blur.
guess.
Let me see what you're looking at, bro.
I haven't opened the blur chart, at least not this one, for a long time, as you can see.
Blur, baby, Blur, Blur. Yes,
All right,
very
all
fun.
right. I mean, okay, the sort of earliest, I guess, untested level. Yeah, it's around this like 67. So if we're thinking 67, it's going to go to 69 because YOLO and
Yep,
whatnot. And if it's going to go to
yep.
69, it's going to go to 70.
Oh,
Um,
that'd be amazing.
I don't know. That's like the idea if you get continuation at least. But what I see
Right.
as resistance on like run-ups like this are kind of strangely enough these like I guess old pattern shoulders, things like that. Just as these areas become my kind of levels to buy, right? If I'm being a buyer,
Yeah.
so like a retest. So I mean, looking at Blur, like this is probably reasonable. Like I'm not saying it's going to continue to do that, but it could.
Yeah, yeah.
It
So,
definitely could, right? But that we don't
yeah,
know.
no doubt.
But this
Yeah, we
looks
don't know.
this would be more sustainable because we would have filled in all of this price action effectively. You know like, you believe in the tale of market makers, then you believe in their need to kind of rebalance their books, right? So
Correct.
that's like what happens here when
And I do believe it. Yeah, I do believe in that.
so
Yeah.
that's I guess most likely it looks really really hot on oscillators as well, like 4 hour
Oh,
up
yeah.
at
Yeah.
80. So maybe one more push we can kind of start to diverge and look for some kind of turnaround,
Yeah.
something nearby. So it's like yeah, speaking of
Well, I can show you what I was looking at on this and the reason why I took the trade. Um, and if you want to switch over to my screen, and and
here
and
we go.
if anyone's looking to trade it going forward on what they could be to expect. Like earlier this morning, BTC Arts, Bart, is that what you guys call him? He hopped in a trade with me when I posted about it, and he made a few hundred off it. It's pretty fun, pretty good stuff. But I mean, I made a comment in the chat a while ago about this thing was trading at all time lows. So this is a 12-hour chart, and if you see the this point 0.44 level, that mid 40s. I mean, this is all time low territory. So um, you can't buy the top. It's impossible to buy the top if something's trading at an all time low. And so, and again, with another airdrop coming and an unlock coming in June, it's going to be in somebody's interest to pump this thing back up. And so that's the reason why I took this was basically my sole trade, my only trade in most cases that I was putting size on. And of course, glad I'm not trading with a huge account right now on the summer, but I still am, and percentages is what matter to me right now. And so I was, just waiting for this breakout, and it just kept teasing me over and over again. But I just kept adding, and even on vacation, it didn't dump, and I was like, thank God it didn't dump because then I would have been stuck, about doing other things. So, but anyway, so looking at this, I got a daily order block up here. Also, if you look at the monthly VWAP, which is what I play off of, these the yellow dots here, and then the one standard deviation is up here. There's this gray cloud up here. So that's why I think somewhere in this order block around 58. I've already scaled out of some. Yeah, I'm big on that kind of stuff. And if I have my volume profile up, you probably see there's like a high volume node right there, but you don't even need that to tell that there's there's high volume in that area. Uh, so, but I'm thinking that which which one? Which one? Right here. Let me put a little horizontal ray on there. There we go. Boom. Yeah. It once it get, yeah, once it gets up there, because now you're talking about your, two standard deviations from the monthly, and so yeah, you're really looking at overextended at that point. But um, like I said, I'm thinking it's at least probably going to break through this order block, and yeah, 63, 64, very reasonable. But you're right, because once something gets running, then you get the haters trying to short it, and you got some meme levels in there, some 69, and here's another order block up here at 70. Just like you were saying. So there's no reason to close this trade, in my opinion. I mean, I'm just holding a bunch of spot. I closed my leverage long, but if you look at the open interest profile on these, I mean, somebody opened up a huge long earlier, and they haven't taken much off since. They've taken some, but not a crazy amount off yet. So yeah, that's a fun one. And again, I hear there's some June unlock coming on this, and I don't really pay attention to that. But again, with another airdrop coming, someone's going to try to pump it, and I'm here for it. So hell yeah. All right, now let's talk about Sol. So I had posted about Solana. Posted in the chat that the weekly close was pretty bad. Um, yeah, so close here, close kind of below a weekly level, not good. Okay. Now, of course, that doesn't mean it's going straight down. Okay. It's gonna do this. Let's see if I can put up a little one of them Vlad circles that he puts on his thing. Oh, you do ellipse, right? You do ellipse? Yeah, you do ellipse.
Yeah, yeah,
Some right here. Yeah,
yeah,
so it's pretty bad clothes, man.
yeah,
But
yeah.
now
That's not good.
you're gonna see some fuckery around here. But I mean, this is I was posting about this range in some of our older spaces, and this was that same mid range that just kept getting rejected off of this point two, this 25, $26 area. I mean, just constant rejection. That dotted line here.
Yeah,
So honestly, man, it's 17, 12 hour order block, 17 to 16. I would start buying some there. But if I pulled up a volume profile on this, see the high volume nodes, they start right around here. So I'm really looking to buy a lot of Solana around 14. Um, if you get
yeah,
involved in this trade thinking that you're going to have a huge ton of upside, I mean, you can't expect that much out of, especially a leverage trade. It's not doing much. Um, but again, everyone has their own style, and that's just my style. And so I'm waiting patiently on that one.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I can see it, and then like it looks like it looks like it needs to come down like from here the way it's set up now. But
Yeah, we're gonna
Solana
buy
has
it.
been like one of those tokens, has been one of those coins that has this just behavior that kind of loves to squeeze out shorts. So I don't know, like some kind of news catalyst related to the Solana phone could be like something interesting to, I guess, look out for if you're hoping for a God candle to appear.
Thought it already came out though. Didn't the phone already come out?
Yeah, the phone already came out, so I don't know what that would be, but that was obviously sell the news. I guess we can. Yeah, I'm assuming the phone was released when that first long red candle, uh,
You see
like
this?
in
You see this
May,
wick?
right?
Yeah, I hear you, buddy. I hear you, man. But you see this wick here, man. That wick that goes down to that 12-hour order block.
Yeah,
That's yeah, that's pretty lonely, if you know what I mean. From our newlywed uh, friend Lone Wick. I mean,
yeah, that is a lonely wick.
that's a lonely wick, man. And I don't know. It's hard to see, everything, pumping up again, like BTC up into the 30,000s again. In my opinion, or 30,000 again. That's just my opinion. I think it's going to retrace a little further. So yeah, just be careful if you're trading this one. It was trading this crazy tight range, and I don't know. I just don't see a lot of upside to it at the moment.
Yeah, and it's isn't it like weirdly so with a lot of like I can if we have like a quick look at BTC like on my chart, like
Yeah, have a look.
I don't see a whole lot of like I see areas where price like realistically should go to just fill in gaps to have like a
Yeah.
healthy continuation upwards. Um, and there are gaps to the upside as well. Like I think for
Oh,
BTC,
sure.
like there this
Hmm.
becomes like this is the range high. We are trading inside of this range,
Hmm.
and so BTC expected basically to do this until either this, you know, either we come down properly, you know, start consolidating, begin like a downtrend kind of thing. But I would have liked to see more of a shakeout or more of a fake out if this was to actually turn around like completely bearish here, I guess.
Yeah.
So
I didn't think
in
about
my
that.
mind, yeah, it
So
can be
does
an ugly surprise that just kind of
so does everybody else. Everybody else wants that too. And so, that goes. Market doesn't give it.
yeah, that's that's the thing, right? Like, and then there's always like, you know, that this could happen, right? Like kind of happened here.
Yeah.
So there's just many ways this can shape out. Like it's right now though, I guess it is holding it's holding the range lows, but consolidating at the range lows, you know.
Right, right. Yeah, you'd rather
Not
be
let
consolidating.
yeah, I
You'd
don't
rather be consolidating at range highs.
much rather. So I don't know. I think for BTC, I would look for like, you know, starting to close above this green box, and that would look a little bit more healthy because then
Yeah,
we're
for sure.
holding this range and we're kind of reclaiming another like a smaller range or little pivot low, and I would be sort of more optimistic, but rangy or down kind of feels.
One thing I'll say though is that remember how when CZ announced that they were going to be buying, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and BNB, right? And there was like this infinite bid because of that, and
Yeah.
that's what got us up. That's what got us up to 30,000. Let's not kid ourselves. And so now, now they're done with that. And then so now you got Tether coming out. Did you see that story?
Yeah, they're gonna buy Bitcoin, right?
Yeah, they're going to buy Bitcoin with their profits. So that's and then I don't think it's going to be on the same scale. But again, I don't really know the specifics of it. But there you go. You have another big shot coming out claiming hey, we're bidding infinite bid again. So here we are. So that is a case for the upside, possibly. But if you're announcing infinite bid, you don't want price to go up. You want price to go down, so you can buy more.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of things. It's like, you know, the CZ one turned out to be true. They were actually bidding. Price is going up. But then again, then when someone announces an infinite bid like that, then the market runs it up to make them pay more, and then to sell to them. So there's a few opposing forces here. Um, that's why you pretty much just have to look at the chart and just be reactionary instead of trying to predict.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I guess that's kind of the conclusion right now. Is I think, I guess you know, there's there's little reason, I guess, to really trust anything that happens.
Sure. Oh yeah.
But you know, if something's running, like hop on. Um, but yeah, I don't think this is where you go all in and hold something necessarily. Uh,
Yeah, you want to see it run some
Especially
lows.
not low or you know,
Yeah.
especially not meme related things because yeah, that's there are new memes every day, right?
Or run those highs and short and get some shorts. Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah. So this one, Kava. Have you traded this one at all?
Long time ago. Like
Did you?
2019 maybe or something like that.
Here, let me pull up my VWAP one. I was trading this one, and last night this one,
Ooh,
yeah, here is the.
yeah,
Let's see what we got here.
people finally got out of that one.
Well, yeah, you check this out, man. I saw this candle last night. I was laying in bed, and this let's see which candle was it? This candle right here.
Hmm.
And so I see it running up. I'm gonna put it. No, that's not. I saw it running up, so I'm like, hey, I'm gonna short this. Okay, I'm gonna short this, and it just kept on running. And now I usually do isolated. I
Hmm.
usually do isolated. Well, I started doing cross. I started doing cross leverage, right?
Oh
On
shit.
yeah, my Femex account, which is a smaller account of the two now of my leverage account. And
Okay, I
so
see.
it just kept on going, kept on going. And I was like, oh my god, I was like, are they about to liquidate me? And because I got in at like 135 on a short, and it just kept on going. And I didn't have time to put a stop loss or anything because I just figured I'd just hop in real quick and then just get a quickie. And it ran all the way up here. So by the time I got a stop loss in at 160, it stopped pumping and then dumped all the way back down to like 119 or something like that. And so I sold it, and I ended up making pretty good money off it. But man, that was a rush. That was a rush because I was like, man, I'm about to get liquidated. Like not just liquidated out of one position. That's a whole account liquidation because I was cross leveraged.
Yeah, yeah. The beauty
Yeah,
of the beauty of cross, right?
the
Um,
beauty of cross.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so, hey, you want to talk to people about the cross versus the ISO, since you're a cross master.
Oh, the oh yeah, I guess that yeah, the difference, right? Yeah, so I mean, with cross leverage, essentially you run the risk at liquidating your entire trading account versus isolated, which is, I guess, more like an option, right? You risk liquidation on what you put in. Um, but what you can do with cross that you cannot do with isolated is you can use unrealized profits to open new positions, and that is dangerous, very dangerous. But
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can be more flexible in that, if you have a position that you, I guess, maybe kind of believe in, but you want to hedge it out a little bit. Um, for example, like it just allows for more flexibility all around in how you want to, I guess, express your opinion on the market, as they say.
Okay.
Um,
So how does that? I need to ask you a question on this because there's parts of it that I don't fully understand. So if you're using cross leverage and you're longing, doesn't that put you more at risk? Because if the price goes down, your collateral would be going. Oh, that's if you're using coin margin. If
yeah,
I'm,
yeah,
if I'm,
exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah. You see what I'm talking? You know where I'm going with this, right?
But if you're cross leveraged and you have your collateral in coin, because of, most exchanges now just allow you to have a bundle of coins, and that'll be your collateral at like 75% loan to value ratio
Okay.
or something like that.
Okay.
Um, so you put 10K of Bitcoin, that counts as 7.5K of worth of collateral, or because it's Bitcoin, it's going to count as like 9K or 9. But
Okay.
anyways, yeah, you do run the risk of yeah, if you're long Bitcoin with your Bitcoin and
Yes.
you start being underwater, and at the same time the value of your collateral drops, so you're in double trouble
So you start getting double stuff.
because
Right.
you're
Um,
double long, right? You just longed your longs
so that would make a case
essentially.
for you want to short. You want to do coin margin short
Yes,
because right. Okay.
synthetic dollars at 1x,
That's what I
right?
was thinking. I was thinking, wait a minute, because if price was to go against you and you're short, well, your value of your collateral is going up, so that should give you a little more breathing room.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean that's that, and that's I guess that's something to take into account, like when you're looking at, for example, like how leveraged are shorts versus how leveraged are longs. Shorts are
Uh,
always going to be more leveraged, for example, on the coin margin side,
okay.
at least, um,
Right.
because just to
Okay.
get more out of it, to get the same kind of squeeze out of it. Yes.
So if you're gonna do cross, like if I'm sitting with a $30,000 account, I'm not gonna want to cross margin that. Just I don't know if I feel comfortable doing that. So instead, I'll just do isolated positions with $5,000 here, $5,000 there, and
Yeah,
because
it's
because
probably
because
better.
I'm a gambler. Yeah, I'm a gambler, and that's just I think hey, one hand of blackjack is $100 or whatever. So it's limited to that particular hand. Um, but if it was crossed, I mean, the only way it really makes sense is if you're really putting all of that into a position, and then that's how you actually are able to use the unrealized gains to open up new positions. So
Yeah,
basically,
and
right,
I mean you
right,
can like, but like you can, I guess, imagine if you're doing this on an exchange, like I guess as an American you don't have access to all of these things necessarily, but like for someone that does have access to both leverage and options, for example, and
okay, yeah,
all of those, like the whole suite of like ways to kind of express yourself, how then you can do things like you can hedge your positions with options, for example, and I guess just do a lot more complicated positions that in the end can get you a bunch of other benefits, right? Like you can trade a lot of
okay.
volume, for example, which
So you can do that like you would be using your Bitcoin's collateral for options, like on Bybit. They have options, don't they?
they do. I think they only allow USDT
Yeah,
for
it's kind of
that,
weird.
but
Yeah, I saw the. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
that's like what you're moving towards, anyways, right? As collateral is going to be like a mixed bag, and you're going to play all of the different types of products, um, kind of intermingled. Like all of these DeFi yield vaults, like they are essentially just combinations of those very same concepts. But I mean that's getting a little too deep. If you're enabling cross, like know what you're doing and always have a stop loss. Um,
Right. Right.
and
But then, what's the point of doing cross at that point?
well, let's like if you catch a runner, for example, um, and you know how to use, for example, a trailing stop.
Okay.
It depends a lot, I think, on your trading style,
Oh, trailing stuff. Okay.
but a cross margin account is going to be more flexible and more tolerant towards price swings. Like you will be liquidated faster on an isolated position, of course, because
Okay.
you're not using your entire account. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
to some
But,
degree,
but, but, but
there's just more flexibility in cross, but there's also more risk. But you can
of
snowball
course.
your positions in with cross leverage, which is
Sure. Yeah. If they
dangerous.
start working, yeah, if they start moving in your favor, yeah, I can see the snowball effect. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, exactly. And like if you're looking at something like Pepe, for example, and you bought, I don't know, you bought for $500 and you've already 5x'd it, um, and you move your stop in a way where you can just keep adding on dips because you're getting new collateral to play with your unrealized gains. And as long as you trail your stop to where you're not going to take any losses, and you trust the trading pair as it's a
Sure.
legit coin that has liquidity. In
Right.
your
Right.
case, like, yeah, if something happens and you have to dump 50K of turbo into the books because your stop ran and others had their stops at the same place, it's not going to be a very fun experience.
No.
You're
No.
going to take like twice the loss that you thought you were going to take
I see.
on those, and
So
I
how?
have firsthand experience of that. Yeah,
Do ya?
yeah, 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 yeah. Just yeah.
I thought I was the gambler. I thought I was the gambler.
No, I've yeah. There's this shitcoin Nano, and it's super liquid that
Yeah, yeah.
that I kind of learned that lesson on. And
Mhm.
yeah, that was with cross leverage. That was fun. Uh,
So let me ask you this. So you had mentioned before that getting liquidated is more expensive than a stop loss,
right.
and you said it like significantly more expensive. And I think B Ways had this question in the chat one time. Why is that?
Yeah, so it has to do with the fact that the exchange, when you open a position, you have to provide your initial margin, which is just this is the pure math, right? You put up $100, the exchange lends you 900, your position is worth $1,000, and you're at 10x leverage, right? So
Okay.
this is like the base math.
Yeah.
But what the exchange
Sure.
also does is they have something called a maintenance margin,
Maintenance. Okay.
which is basically a little risk. It's like a little risk hedge against volatility
Okay.
that the exchange.
Risk hedge. Okay.
Yeah, so they want to give you the best possible bang for your buck, I guess, in terms of when they give you leverage, but even the exchange can't guarantee that you're stopped out, at the price that you're going to be stopped out at, or that you're going to be liquidated at the price that you're going to be liquidated at. And there's always someone that has to assume the risk, right? When you get liquidated,
Right.
like someone has it as a job or as a task in the market to absorb your forced selling. Someone is a backstop provider.
And so they give you the worst possible fill, worst possible match. It sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Because of that.
stick with me. So, if you're, let's say that you assume that responsibility of becoming a backstop provider for the market, i.e., market maker, typically, like this is one of their roles, right? Um, and what you are doing is you are assuming positions that are just deemed like unstable, bankrupt positions that you have to buy. That's what you sign up to do. Because the exchange isn't like personally gonna do that. Anyways, so if you're a firm that does that, you're gonna want a little percentage for that. You're gonna want payment for the
Sure.
service you provide, right? Because if this
Oh,
service wasn't provided ever, then a market dump would look like it did in I don't know, like 20s.
right. Okay. Okay.
But yeah, so that's where the maintenance margin goes to, as far as I know. Like, you know, just this is all in the exchange documents. On every
Mhm.
exchange, it has to be. Um, but yeah, so that's
Almost like
where the margin goes. Yeah,
almost like the lender of last resort kind of situation, kind of like that, or like a, yeah. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
I get it. I'm
So
just putting it in terms that I understand.
your long gets liquidated, right? And I'm the backstop provider. I signed up to always buy liquidations from Magna, right? Because your positions, your positions are too big. They affect the market. Like they need someone to step in, um, right? And so I'll take that role, but I don't want to assume that risk because what if it just tanks? Like I can't
Sure.
choose necessarily when I have to buy your position.
Right.
So I
So
want
you
a
got it.
cut of that
I
business.
get it. So in order to do that, you've got to basically be guaranteed a certain spread. And okay, I get it. Okay.
Yeah, so that's where that whole idea comes from, as far as I know. And yeah, so anyways, rambled on about that for a
Okay.
long time. But what it comes down to and why it's more expensive is that you lose the maintenance margin as well, where it's counted against your position. So if you stop out, you just stop out. Like if you stop out one tick from your liquidation point, you're gonna have
Mhm.
a lot more left in your account than if you actually get liquidated. That's I guess what I'm saying because the
Yeah. Right.
maintenance margin percentage
Uh huh.
has to it grows with your leverage.
Got it.
And
No, I get it. Yeah.
yeah, so
So
as
if
your
you,
position goes underwater, your leverage usage
uh,
gets higher. If you're
yeah,
on cross, that's how it like works. That's the flexibility in it. And as you reach liquidation, you're at the highest leverage, and so the exchange takes the highest possible main margin.
got it. So if let's say you're 100%, you're all in. I've got my whole, you know, my whole stack in this one position, cross leveraged, all that. I'm raw dogging it. I've got no stop loss. I'm
Yep.
just like, you know what, ride or die, because it's just it's just a burner account, or who cares, right?
Hmm.
So what you're telling me is that in order to make that same spread, and the maintenance margin, all that, does that basically mean that you would get your position would be closed out earlier than the normal liquidation point to
Wait,
make up for that spread?
sorry, say that again.
Yeah, what I say, because what you said, like, if you your stop loss will save you. Let's say it saves you $100,
Hmm.
as opposed if you got liquidated. If you got liquidated, okay.
Yeah,
So, but if I'm all in, they can only take so much from me because I'm all in, right? So if they,
yeah.
what
You
does
would
that
be
mean that they
liquidated sooner, supposedly.
sooner? Yeah, they would take it sooner because they know you got nothing left. So in order to make that same spread, they gotta hit you sooner.
Yes. I mean, something like that. At least I don't know if that's like necessarily the easiest way to think about it, but the like at the end of the day, the $100 that you have in your trading account, a part of that is going to go to the maintenance margin,
Right.
which means that the maintenance margin as a percentage required of your total position is going to increase with the leverage, and your leverage use increase as you go underwater. So essentially, every time you get liquidated, you're at the highest possible maintenance margin for that pair, and that can be, I think I've seen on Bybit that it can be up to 3% of your notional size.
Dude.
Which if you're at 10x leverage or 25x leverage, that all of a sudden becomes like, let's pretend it's 2%, right? And you're at 25x. So we're talking half of your collateral all of a sudden. And now you thought you had 100 to play with, you actually only had 50.
Yeah.
And
All right.
so that's kind of that's the little dirty secret that isn't actually a secret. It's just buried deep in the documents.
Hey, so the bubble trousers, Douglas Bubble Trouser, asked about this LBR coin, and I've never
LBR.
heard of it. Yeah, I've never heard of it. Vlad knows more about these kind of obscure ones than I do. It's an LSD.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So what do
Uh,
you know anything about this one?
is it Libra.finance?
I think I got
Yeah.
the right one.
Okay, so I'll share my tab just because this is probably a good lesson, and this could also just be my internet, right? But if things typically look like this when you visit them, don't.
Is
That's
that one of the?
yes.
Is
I
that one of
might
those?
just I may just be on the wrong link here, but I figured this might be an important lesson anyways.
Is that one of the ones that when you go on Dex Tools, where it says that hey, this coin was just created in the last 24 hours, so be careful.
Yeah, it's a little bit like that. I mean, I guess it does send like two. It sends one of two signals, right? Either it's a complete rug, uh,
Yeah.
or they just don't really care that much about you, which indicates once again that it's a complete rug.
Yeah.
It's a slow or a fast rug, and to be avoided until it has been explained sufficiently.
Speaking of rugs, so I hope nobody in the audience sent money to the PSYOP guy. I certainly hope not.
Psyop guy?
Yeah, there's the PSYOP Ben.eth or something like that.
Okay, now I understand why that was trending one day.
right, that's what it was. It's natural selection at its finest. I mean, but
Hmm.
yeah, it happens. So yeah, Ben.E. And he was the guy who created the BitBoy coin, I guess, or the whatever, and then BitBoy was gonna buy it from him. And so this guy came out with his own thing called PSYOP, and people sent him pre-seed money, and yeah, yeah.
Christ. All right, all right. What do you think? Should we wrap it up there? It's getting pretty late on my end. So I gotta start thinking.
Oh yeah, it's pretty late for you. Yeah, as long as there's I was hoping that maybe B Ways and them would be in here if they had questions about some of the stuff they brought up in the chat. But if they don't, if they're not here,
Hmm.
then can't help. So it's all good.
This is somewhat scary. Speaking of
Is that
things,
Ethereum?
yeah, I know. I just looking at squiggles now that I can't. This cannot have been. This can't be real. Must have been drawn in after the fact. All right.
Oh
Shall
really?
we?
Oh, very nice.
Shall we?
Nice
I
job,
don't
man.
remember. It's been like I don't look at the charts that much, so I mean, sometimes you get lucky, right? This could be one of those. Could also be me just trying to explain something.
Oh, good man.
Yeah, doomsday prediction on ETH right here. Just not saying it's gonna
Yep.
happen, but this is typically what you would look for in a range. Have a deviation above the range. You look for the bottom of the range. A nice pause in the middle. And
Yeah.
I'll end with that Dooms prediction and play the bearish outro because everyone's been having so
Feel it.
much fun with meme coins. Time for the fun to stop.
Yeah, it's been
I'm
over
just
for
I'm
about a
just
week.
kidding. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, it's been over for about a week, man. There's nothing left. Nothing left. But anyways, yeah, I'm surprised we're not lower. To be honest with you, I think the Nasdaq has probably been the one thing that's been keeping the whole markets up
Yeah,
because it's been doing well. So
but you called it
whether it
on
be
that SFP, and it's not looking too good.
on the weekly SFP on the S&P. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean you just can't ignore it when it's a high time frame like that. You got to doesn't mean it's going to happen, but it's something you don't ignore. You can ignore a lot of things, but that's not one of them.
yeah, no.
So yeah,
It looks boring
we'll
at
see how it
its
goes.
best, but it has 3 days, right? It has 3 days now to hit this weekly order block and kind of reverse course.
Yeah, sure.
It's
Yeah,
not
it
it's not
does.
a
Yeah.
massively impressive SFP in that like it closed very close to the high.
Well, here's what's odd about it is that it happened right after Friday open. Or let's see, where's Friday? Friday it ran up, and then in the morning session, and it just went. It's been down. It's basically been down ever since.
Hmm.
And so it ended the week with the SFP that all occurred on Friday session. And so that was, you know,
Yeah.
just something that you have to pay attention to. But anyways, all right, Vlad, thanks.
Let's
Thanks
end
for
it
staying
there.
up.
Yeah. Let's end it there. Thanks.
Appreciate it, boss.
Thanks
All
for
right,
hanging
talk to you
out.
later.
All right, and talk to you later. Have a good one, everyone. Catch y'all next week.